Hi, everybody. This is a short video about writing formulas for ionic compounds containing polyatomic ions. In my previous video, I outlined what a polyatomic ion is. It's when you have more than two elements in an ion and they're linked together and given a different name. So you're responsible for being able to find a table of polyatomic ions and being able to use it. So this is just going to be about writing the formulas. So I'll show you the cross and drop or crisscross method, and then I'll show you the zero sum method. So write the symbols for the ions, the metal first, then the polyatomic ion, unless of course it's ammonium, and that goes in place of the metal. Put the charges above the ions, cross and drop the charges. Sorry, the numbers from the charges, not the plus or minus. If the polyatomic ion needs a subscript, then you have to put the polyatomic ion in a bracket first. Reduce the subscripts if needed so that it's a lowest ratio. So we'll do a couple of examples. Copper to cyanide. So this is saying we have, copper, and it has a charge of 2+, and cyanide is Cn, and it has a charge of 1-. So crossing and dropping, the copper ends up with a subscript of 1, which we don't have to write. And you put your Cn, but because it has to have now a subscript of 2, you put the entire polyatomic ion in brackets, and then you put in your subscript 2. Otherwise, it looks like it's CuCN2, that there's only 2 nitrogens, not 2 cyanides. Okay, sodium nitrate. Sodium is Na, and it's +1. Nitrate is 1-. Cross and drop. And each one of these ions has a subscript of 1, which we don't have to write. So it's just Na, NO3. Lead 4 sulfate. So lead is Pb, and it's 4+. That's what the Roman numerals 4 means. And then sulfate. Sulfate has charge of 2-. So cross and drop, and we get Pb2SO4. The 4 stays with the oxygen. It's part of the formula for sulfate. And then we have to put brackets around it because there's a subscript 4 that's come down. So you can reduce this, divide both subscripts by 2, so it becomes PbSO4 bracket 2. So this is how you do the cross and drop writing formulas for ionic compounds. For zero sum, you're going to write the symbols for the ions, just like you did before. The metal comes first, then the polyatomic ion, unless the polyatomic ion is ammonium. Determine the charges. How many of each is required to make the compound have a 0 net charge. Write the formulas with subscripts representing the number of each ion. Don't forget to put brackets on. So I've given you a few different examples for this one. So ammonium chloride, NH4. This has a charge of +1. Chlorine has a charge of -1. They add up to 0, +1 and -1. So the formula is NH4Cl. Don't have to multiply anything. Magnesium nitrate, Mg has a charge of 2 plus, and nitrate has a charge of 1 minus. Now, these numbers are not equal, but if I multiply nitrate by 2, my total negative will be 2 minus. These now add up to 0, and the 2 becomes my multiplier on my nitrate. So this becomes Mg bracket NO3 bracket subscript 2. So I need 2 nitrates to make a total negative charge of negative 2. So when that adds to the positive 2 on magnesium, it adds to 0. Now let's do aluminum sulfate. Oops. Okay, aluminum and sulfate. So aluminum has a charge of +3. Sulfate has a charge of -2. I can't multiply either one by a whole number to get the other one, so I have to find a new number that they both go into. So this is where you multiply the two numbers. 3 and 2 makes 6. So if I multiply aluminum by 2, I get 6 plus. If I multiply sulfate, -2 by 3, I get -6. Now my totals add to 0. +6 plus a -6 equals 0. And these multipliers become the subscripts for those ions. So the formula for this is Al2 bracket SO4 bracket 3. So this is the same way as we did before with ionic compounds, just this time we're using polyatomic ions. So good luck.